we're back.
As promised, y'all getting 2 videos because y'all deserve it, and we ain't been at work. We've been sick, but this episode we're talking about mental health. And we know we did talk about mental health about almost a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Probably 2 years. It's been a long time. But I thought it was cool to talk about it because, for one, I think I said to you, I know for me, I'm definitely not in that place from when we filmed 2 years ago where I am now. And so much has changed in life, but also we see a lot on social media about self-care and mental health and stuff like that. And it almost has become kind of like a trend or cool to be into that. So I feel like, why not talk about it? So,
Yeah.
You know, and the older I get, it's changing for me. So I guess I feel like the 2 questions we had in mind were, what does mental health look like to you? And what does it mean to you? And I guess what does it mean to you, I guess, would you say? Like,
I think that mental health means that you are trying to
your mental.
take care of your mental, make sure your mental is healthy, and then you individually have to figure out what does a healthy mental state of mind look like.
Because I feel like the generation
feel
before
like.
us would have been like, you woke up today, you went to work today. Like, there's more to life than that. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really make sure you're able to. I think years ago, a friend of mine told me she asked people. She saw a video that she wanted to implement, which was asking someone, do you have room for this? Before she kind of like vented to them or put on them.
Oh.
So it was a way for her to just be like checking their mental state before she maybe dumped on them.
Yeah.
Or she was going through it. And I was like, I have to start doing that because you never know. But I feel like mental health, like, obviously it can mean a lot because there are mental conditions and things like that. But I just feel like overall, in the grand scheme of things, just taking care of your mind, because we see so much in a day on TV, social media. We take in a lot on our phones. And then we got to go to work and we're juggling. And there's been so many times where I'm juggling emotions or things that have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But it's because I saw it online. And it made me sad, and now I'm walking around sad, and it's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, you know?
Yeah, I believe definitely the way that we consume as much social media as we do forces us to, at the end of the day, make a decision if it's something that we agree with or disagree with. And sometimes when you're trying to figure that out, if you're in the middle, that can weigh heavily on you mentally. Because you feel like you have to make a choice, because you feel like you know, it's no different than you swiping past something that you're not interested in, or are you taking the time to actually look at that information and then let that soak in to see if it affects you or not. So it's almost like, you know, what am I going to allow to affect me, whether it's something that is having you cracking up laughing, something that's, you know, making you get into an emotional state, or something that is getting you heated and opinionated. So
I think we definitely become desensitized to certain things. That something that might have used to bother you, maybe it's not having that same effect because we see it so often. Because I know that when we were talking about the Diddy trial, just for me, like the first couple days, like I was just like so into it because it was like the hot topic. But after a while, I was like, this is so sad. And it's like, why are people not bothered by this? Like, it's got to be more than a hot topic. It's got to be more than a shade room post. It's got to be more than celebrities. Like, this is a problem.
This is a person's life and their experience of what they went through.
Yes.
It's no different than like sometimes like Kubi and I will get into watching like certain documentaries, and then we'll be walking away from that feeling like depleted because emotionally you've gotten attached to the fact that maybe, depending on what type of documentary it is, you know, has someone lost their life? At the end of the day, was there a crime committed where someone just got duped and manipulated? Was it a situation where the bad guy got caught, but at the same, you know, so you're rooting for the fact that, you did something wrong and now you got caught. Now you got to pay the price. But
or like when they have you rooting for the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like I was watching a Bonnie and Clyde thing the other day, and I was like, well, I hope they get away. And like, we obviously know how it
You
ended.
like, we know how that ended.
But I just was like, why am I like,
yeah.
this is not a love story.
But then that again
Or I don't know
also,
how you want to look at that.
yes, that again also lets you know that depending on who's telling the story, who's putting the post out, depending on how they want it to be related, that's how it's gonna affect how you feel.
There's a lack of truth in social media. No, it's propaganda, really. But there's a lack of that in everything we watch because someone's got a narrative that they're driving. But I feel like what made me even want to go there was I remember probably feeling when we talked about mental health last time. It wasn't I want to say it was social media, and you kind of have those moments where you look at where you're at in life and then you see where people post they're at in life, and now you're comparing and you don't feel adequate or you don't feel, and I think that that's the disconnect. So now I just told you earlier, I was like, I'm at a really good place where I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
And like, it's like maybe the older I get, because like I would not go to the gym without a haircut. Like if I didn't have a haircut, I wasn't working out. Like, when people would see me with no haircut, I couldn't go to the store and just any old thing, or my outfit had to match. Now I'm just like, don't care.
Yeah.
And it feels very liberating.
Yes, it definitely gives yourself a chance to mentally take a break from caring or worrying so much about certain things. Like, you still, I think that obviously you don't want to just again, in regards to taking care of yourself mentally, I think that your physical appearance
Right.
Can affect how you feel internally.
Oh, for sure.
And so you do still want to have a certain amount of care. You just don't want it to be to the point where you are worried about what others think. And let that control.
Yeah, do it for you.
Yeah, let that control you.
We went to the store together the other day, and I was in some gray shorts and a black beater and a necklace, and I was fine. But a year ago, I would have never been able to do that.
Yeah, and I remember you mentioning something to me, and I'm like, listen, I am a mom, I'm older, and I have been on that for quite some time of not caring. I mean, I remember there was obviously a time when I was like, oh no, I got to put a whole outfit together to go to the mall.
Right.
Now I'm like, please.
People used to get dressed up to go to the mall. Now I'm like,
please.
I'm running in out of like, nobody cares.
Especially if it's going to be a running in and out.
Like, I had my do-rag on the day of Beyonce to go into Target, and I was so like, Kelsey, what are you doing? You're like, you didn't take that. But I'm like, I got to get my waves right before I go to this show. So I really don't care. But it was just like moments like that where I'm like, oh, you're really doing this.
Like, that's out of character for you.
It was out of a body experience for me, because I'm just like, whoa, the old you would not have done that, or like what you were used to doing. But I'm like, I got to get my stuff, and I'm not taking this do-rag off. So.
And I think that's the thing too. It's like some things are like, you as a person, when you're growing, being true to yourself, whatever that truth is, that changes as well. Like, you can have a point in your life where you're like, well, I always make sure my hair and my nails, or my suit and my tie and my shoes and everything is together. And not to say that you shouldn't care about those things, but again, it's just that you just prioritize certain things a little bit differently. Yeah. So it's like that kind of takes a little bit of a backseat, or it goes lower on your priority list as far as, again, are you doing it for yourself, or are you trying to impress somebody else?
Even like this last time being sick, like I was really, really sick. Like that bronchitis was kicking my butt. Mm-hmm. And somebody called me to invite me to do something, but they didn't, like, the way they did it, it wasn't like, usually if you invite somebody, maybe you're giving them a couple days notice. Yeah. Like, hey, would you want to do this? And it was the day of, and they were already doing it. Like, they wanted me to come meet them. Uh-huh. And we're like so disappointed that I couldn't do it. And I was just like, I couldn't feel bad to say no, because I'm like terribly sick. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, you're missing the point. Like, you're not the main character of my story. Oh. I don't feel good. I'm not showing up. And it just kind of threw me. And then someone else reached out to me asking me to do something. And I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm sick. But like, you didn't ask me. You didn't say hi. You didn't say how you doing. We haven't talked in a long time. I said, I'm sick. They didn't respond for like 3 days. And then they responded with another need. Oh. And I was like, you didn't even say, I hope you feel better. And that's when I realized, once again, you're not the main character of my story. Mm-hmm. I've got to take care of me. So I looked at the message. I didn't respond. I went back to bed. And like, I'm like, I got to get better. And it was in that moment where I was like, you got to do for you. You got to live for you. You got to because everybody else is going to do that for them.
Yeah.
You got to mentally provide for yourself first, whether that's getting rest, whether that's not showing up for people how they want you to show up for them because you can't. Like, just all these things.
Yeah.
So I just was going through
and
that.
that's the thing, too. I think sometimes it can put a lot of pressure on you when you're trying to meet others' expectations instead of meeting your own expectations in that situation. Like, you're like, okay, I know maybe I was late to an event and I wasn't necessarily on time, but I showed up. So that's meeting my expectation. You may have, because you're the host of whatever, may have expected me to be there maybe even a few minutes early before said event started. But for me, if I made it right on time or if I was 2 minutes late, I have met my expectation.
Do you feel like in a situation like that, you are required out of common courtesy to let them know you're running behind?
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay.
I think you should.
Because I feel like
you should.
I do believe in, like, obviously telling somebody you're running late. Like, yeah, I do.
But
that pressure sometimes I feel like it's just respectful to tell them you're running late.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think but that pressure that you refer to, like, to me, I know that feeling a lot.
Mm-hmm. And that was just an example, a random example. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily, it could be, you could put that in any scenario. Yeah.
But sometimes people don't. I think the problem is, I just was telling a friend this the other day, the lack of grace. Because if somebody was going to give grace, they would be like, oh, it's okay, you're running late, I understand. Or maybe they don't respond, but they also don't have a problem with it, like they know.
Yeah.
But it's when the grace is not given, and it's like, are you kidding me? Or, no.
Yeah, and it depends on how late you are. I do feel like with certain situations, like with being late, like it gets to a level of disrespect. Like
you think it's better just not to come at all?
Yep.
No, I don't feel that way.
Really?
I don't feel that way. I mean, like, wouldn't you, like, I mean, obviously don't come 5 minutes before it's over.
Yeah.
But, like, if it's a 5-hour event and I get there with 2 hours left, I'm glad you came.
Yes. But I feel like if it's like a dinner and I would, as a host, if I'm like, okay, I want us all to maybe eat at the same time. And we are waiting on you.
I mean,
and
okay,
no
you got here after we ate. Not my problem.
No communication.
Oh, yeah, that's
like if it's like, you know what, I'm so sorry, such and such is happening. I'm gonna be late. You guys go ahead without me. Like that's a common
Even
courtesy.
if you tell me, hey, I'm running late, but you don't say how late you're running, and I'm hosting the dinner, I want us to eat. We don't eat without you. I know you're running late.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna keep it moving, but at the same time, I need some type of communication just as a courtesy.
I'm not gonna be upset if you told me you were late and you got there 5 minutes before it ended. You told me, okay. And I probably shared it with, hey, guys, so-and-so is running late, but they'll be here at some point.
Because can you imagine if even in that moment, if it was an emergency situation, they couldn't communicate it, they couldn't give you details, but then later on you find out, oh, it was an emergency.
I would feel bad.
And I would be like, you know what? I'm not going to hold that against you because life happens.
Right.
And that's what I mean. Like there's certain things that like, I know certain people who would feel bad to the point of, you know, profusely like apologizing and, you know, I'll do all of this just so you can forgive me. And it's like, oh.
Are you always late? Because if it's a repeat offender, I'm really not going to care. I'm going to just be like, you always late. Who cares? Or I'm going to start lying to you and telling you it starts sooner than what it does so that you can get there on time.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about that either. But I just feel like a lack of grace is what it is. But we don't give ourselves grace either.
Yeah.
I don't. And I'm working on it. Like it literally yesterday or the last 2 days, I was like, I'm tired of feeling like I got to go to work and I'm sluggish and I feel like I don't have enough time for myself and I'm not taking care of myself because I'm like, we only get 2 days to ourselves. And I'm like, I have to change that narrative. So I got off work on Wednesday and I was exhausted and I just wanted to lay down and not think. And I was like, nope, get up. I went to the dry cleaners and I went to get some gas to fill my tank up. And then I went to the gym and I got home and I was just like, I felt accomplished. And it was just like,
that's good.
The gym, the cleaners, and the full tank gas. Then Thursday after work, I'm like, we got this. I went to Ulta, picked up some skincare. I went to the Dollar Tree, bought a calendar. Like, no, I'm sorry. I went to Office Max to buy a calendar.
Okay.
But I went to like 2 different Dollar Trees and couldn't find a calendar. And I was like, oh, I had to buy $8. Why is it not $1? It's a wall calendar.
Why are you bothered?
I was very bothered.
I mean, that does sound like some Target prices.
I was like, so at Target, you can get a fancy calendar. I was like, I don't need that. I just need a quick calendar. So I went to the dollar store. I'm like, y'all don't sell calendars? And in the section of calendars, there's just like little pockets. That don't even get me started.
That's just for grannies to put them in their purses.
Literally. And then I went to the grocery store and bought my groceries I needed. Went home, dropped them off, went back to the gym. And I was just feeling so accomplished.
Okay.
Now I am exhausted.
Yeah.
My body hurt. But
it's a good tired because you got things done.
Well, I don't know about that because I was like about to text you like we're not working today.
Okay.
But I got things done throughout the week and I don't have just 2 days to my, like the way you look at things. Like I guess we're conditioned sometimes also like you grind throughout the week and then you got the weekend to chill. And I'm like, no, I have to maximize my time.
Yeah.
To feel productive.
I mean, it's the same with certain people that like, I am not a morning person at all.
Me neither.
But I do for sure understand how important it is sometimes to get up early to get your day started so that you can have more of the day.
Yes.
Like as I get older, I definitely appreciate that more. Because I used to be like, no, let me get as much sleep as possible. But then I would be mad because certain things weren't getting done.
It's working from home. Like COVID has done a number on us. I hate blaming COVID for stuff, but it has. Because working from home, I know I can lay in the bed to this last minute, get up and log on. I only need 7 minutes.
Right. Without having to like, When
I used to have to get up an hour and a half before to get up, get dressed, do what I got to do, make breakfast and all that. Now I'm like, well, I got a 15-minute break where I can brush my teeth. And all that, or make something to eat. And I'm like, I am like actively currently working on that. Like this week, like I probably have gotten out the bed 30 minutes before I start to do my skincare routine. And still I'm running late and I work from home. Crazy. But to your point, I would love to be at that place in my life where I wake up and like am not rushing. Because rushing is like the part of the problem too for me.
Yeah.
Like, why do I do that to myself?
Why do you do that to yourself? And again, even with getting rest, I am at I've had, I would say for the past couple of years, had a little bit of like insomnia. And, trying to take better care of my health overall, I know for sure as a woman that you need to have a lot of rest and not necessarily a nap. Like at night, you need to be having like 10 to 12 hours.
My brain doesn't turn off.
I saw a thing that said that for guys, for men, they need at least 8 hours that's a healthy state of hours to be able to function properly. Like that's a good amount.
Like 7.
For women, 10 to 12.
Really?
They said that whole 8-hour thing is based off of for men.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I was like, are you kidding? But
how does a woman get 12 hours of sleep?
For one, how do you do that? But then two, also, just think about all of us that are not allowing ourselves that much. And you think about all the work, all the work that our bodies are putting in. And we don't see that. We don't see any of that, of course, because it's on the inside.
When I was sick, my body was exhausted. I got into bed at like 8 o'clock. I was asleep by 9:30.
What?
I slept all the way through from 9:30 until 7:30 in the morning.
Or really?
8:30 in the morning.
Really?
Like, didn't wait. I usually am not sleeping. And I was like, you were almost asleep for 12 hours.
Really?
Like, and I still woke up exhausted. But I was sick. But imagine not have been sick and sleep. Like, that's your regular routine?
That's your regular routine. Can you imagine?
No. Because there's too much to get done.
But also, and this is the thing, of course, with me being like older, I'm not trying to do nothing after 9 o'clock. I'll be like, what? But, and then even still, I don't take my butt to sleep. And I'm like, why do I do that to myself?
And that's the crazy part. Wind down time, I need to do that. Like, I need to get in the bed and turn off everything. I can't do that. I can't.
My brain does not shut off. I'm on my phone, trying to look at some Pop the Balloon or something, and it's just like, girl, go to sleep.
And then I'll turn on like some slow music or something soft to play.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and I'll turn everything.
That does not even help me.
It helps me. I go to sleep to it. Like I'll be like, dang, I don't even remember like what I went to sleep to, but I like it's an Adele song or Toni Braxton playing faintly.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes I'll find myself listening to the song and I'm like,
yeah, because then you start envisioning things. Oh, I used to do that when I was younger. I would do that to the Brian McKnight, a Brian McKnight album. I would just play it on my and I would just go to sleep.
I mean, his
But
voice is kind of soothing.
It is.
But
It's
I could
very
see that.
soothing.
But I want us to get better at that. Like,
Yeah.
winding down time, turning things off.
Yes.
But I guess ideal for me, buying that skincare yesterday, I was like, this is a treat to myself.
Oh, nice.
And also because I'm like, my skin has been suffering for a long time.
Oh, your
'Cause-
skin looks so nice.
Well, thanks. I just started it yesterday.
Oh, it looks good.
But I will say that it's been suffering for a long time. But that was a part, like, to me, like, I'm like, this is why I get a haircut every 2 weeks. Like, you trying to, like, prices have gone up on everything. And so I'm like, well, I don't need to get a cut this week. Da, 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 da. That is the self-care part of it for me.
And I think too, like, stop telling yourself or convincing yourself that there's certain things you don't need. I've done that. I feel like I've done that almost my entire life. Like, just being like, oh, you don't need that. That money can go somewhere else. Like, you don't need a facial. You can do something else. You don't need to get a massage. You can do something else. You don't need a vacation. You can do something. And it's like, no, you do need that.
But I think it's tough when it's like, okay, you spend $50 on a haircut, but you could go over here and get it for $30. And the way how expensive life is, it's like,
it's so crazy.
You
right
got to
now.
make every dollar count because stuff is going up. We about to be in a recession, and so I'm just like, no, I need this $50 haircut because don't nobody do it like him, you know.
Yeah.
Or I need my massage person went up to $180 for an hour, and I'm like,
no,
she did,
no.
and last time she let me get away with paying like $130, and I was like, nah, you ain't saying nothing, you ain't stopping me. But yeah, I'm like. It's a lot.
Man.
And I'm like, and I haven't gotten a massage now in like 4 months, but I need it. But I'm like, nope, the massage chair at the gym is good enough.
Oh, wow.
It's in the membership.
Chair
It's in the membership.
At the gym.
Even that's why I've been going so hard at the gym because I saw that money come out the membership. And I'm like, oh, got to do it.
You got to do it.
Got to go. And
I mean, you don't want to waste that money.
Yeah. What is ideal? What would you say that mental health, like a good mental health routine looks like to you? Like you say you're in your bag taking care of yourself. What are you doing?
I would say for sure getting my rest. I would say for sure making sure that I am taking proper supplements or vitamins that can help re-energize me and help me push through my day. I would say definitely utilizing as much time as possible to take care of work, and then prioritizing outside of that, like certain things as far as like how much time am I spending with my kids, then how much time am I spending for myself? Like, does that mean that I'm sitting down and writing? Does that mean I'm sitting down and studying my scriptures? Does that mean that I am taking the time to pray a little bit more in depth than my normal, like, real quick prayers? Like, am I making sure I'm talking to God? Am I doing things that also just make me happy as far as a hobby? Like I said, I mentioned writing, but also, like, am I taking the time to stay active, maybe do some exercises, do some dancing? And then am I taking some time to get outside, like feeling the air or being in the sun for a minute, just to give myself that time to be in nature and natural elements, and then coming back and doing other things that may be required of me to do, whether it's cleaning something or maybe preparing a meal or something like that.
Yeah.
Also going ahead and taking a look at budgeting my funds, like making sure that maybe I'm allocating my funds properly, my bills are getting paid, and I'm getting that credit score up, or, reaching that goal.
Oh, that's a good one.
And also, like, putting something to the side for a rainy day. And then also taking a look at a calendar and being like, okay, now this is when we're going to do our vacation time. And we need to maybe have so much saved up for that vacation as a family. Or
that is so much, but it's so necessary.
I mean, it's just so many things that just go through my mind when it comes to stuff like that. I guess that's just my regular meal. I should have just stuck to things that are good for my mental health.
Like,
but those things pour into me, so then I have to figure out how to juggle it.
But it's so much, which is why people probably slack on that.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we can't.
Yeah.
But I think that is so true, because I can't, like you said, everything perfectly. Like, I feel like for me, locking down that gym routine, like right now, I'm like 3 days a week. I would like to be 4, but consistently so far, like 4 months, and I love it.
Yeah.
But that, like eating well, dieting, not even dieting, just eating well,
Just eating
watching what
well.
I put in my body,
Yeah.
could avoid a lot. And I feel like taking care of your body that way, because it's like I'll still eat fast food, but like, okay, go to Chick-fil-A. I mean, not Chick-fil-A. Go to Chipotle and get a bowl versus going to Cane's and getting some chicken because
Fried
it's
chicken.
greasy,
Uh-huh.
or I don't
Yeah.
know, like, or instead of ordering the Chinese food full of sodium, like switch. I don't know, like they're just little things you can do, or instead of having
Absolutely.
soda, drink a water or a juice or a flavored water, something. I don't
Or
know. Well, flavored water high in sugar.
deciding between which guilty pleasure you're gonna have.
Exactly.
Is it gonna
'Cause
be
not
dessert?
depriving yourself either.
Is it gonna be dessert, or is it gonna be maybe an alcoholic beverage? Choose one or the other.
Oh yeah,
Is it
because
gonna be?
I've done my time. I did 30 days sober. I'm good. Give me the drink.
Is it, what is it? What is that one thing gonna be? And then, like you said, don't deprive yourself. Indulge in it a little, and then
I will say, for
keep it
me,
moving.
that stuff comes a little bit easier to me
Mm.
because I like to make time for what I want to make time for.
Yeah.
My struggle for mental health, if it was ideal, it would be not forcing myself to show up for others when I know that I don't have the capacity to do it, but I do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It always turns out as a disservice to me because I went beyond what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's okay. It'll pay off in the long run because they needed that. But unfortunately, like I don't know how to explain it, but like if you're exhausted mentally and emotionally, you need rest, but someone wants you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
And you're not being selfish. And I lack that ability to say no a lot of times, like probably 85% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So then I find myself in these situations with a bad attitude. They're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm not here right now.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be. But that would be and so I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
And I want to say for like the last 2 weeks, I haven't had guilt about not picking up my phone if I wasn't in the space to or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't had remorse in any of those areas, and I'm so proud of myself for that.
Yes.
Because that's so difficult for me.
Yeah.
Like I struggle so bad.
Yeah. And it's like trying to redefine what you define. So it's like, okay, I define.
I got to break those habits now.
Yeah. I define not being reliable as never picking up my phone. Okay. So then now if you're saying, okay, but I want to be considered a reliable person. Okay. Well, that means that I'm going to pick my phone up 2 times.
Right.
And then cap it and say, that's my limit.
Right.
Because to me, I at least picked up twice.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just picked up once. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be every time. Like every time,
Right.
I don't have to say yes every time.
I don't have to.
I can say, okay, well, I said yes to you for those other 2 things. But for this third thing, I'm going to say no. Because that's my limit.
I think I was like, I don't know where this reasoning would have come from. I don't know if it's a part of how I was brought up. But I think I was stuck under the belief that if I show up when people need me, whenever, however, I guess they'll always be there or need you.
Yeah.
Because they know you're reliable.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, if your presence is relying on what I can do for you or what I'm willing to do for you, then maybe I don't need your presence. Or maybe, it's not a beneficial because there's no interchange there.
Yeah. You want an interchange of like you pour into
I hope
someone,
I worded
they pour,
that okay.
They pour into you, and
Yeah.
it's an interchange of encouragement instead of
Yeah.
it just being you're giving, and they're just taking.
Because I think I've always had a fear of people leaving because I've experienced that so much.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, well, if I'm just always doing what you need, you don't have a reason to leave.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I have been in that space before as well. Or a lot of times I have checked out. It's easier for me to check out and not be as present because then that means I almost know I feel like that means that if I don't give you anything to expect, then I can't disappoint you.
Right.
But
Right.
then I have suffered because I haven't allowed myself
To be a full self.
to be a full self and give my full self to someone else in that sense outside of my marriage.
Yes.
You know, I haven't had another relationship when I've been able to do that. Or you
That's
know,
a good
like
point.
we were talking about the other day, I was like, I just want to, I know what things I want to work on, and one of them is definitely showing up for people
Right.
differently and more often, instead of it just being because I don't have that. That's what it is, though. I don't have the expectation that someone needs to call me every day or someone needs to
Right.
check in all the time. So if I don't have that expectation, I was assuming people don't expect that from me. But really, that may be sending a message that I don't want them,
Right.
or I don't need it.
Right.
And that's not what I want.
But also the other end of that spectrum is me thinking if I do all those things, I'm going to get it in return.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're doing it for a return, but you just think
yeah.
that, well, why not? But then when it doesn't happen,
Yes.
there's disappointment there. So now I've extended myself in all these ways, and not out of expectation, but you get disappointed that way.
And
so
I
there's
think
total two ends of the spectrum where it's like I could check out. If I don't do those things, you won't expect me to do those things. But now it either looks like you don't care or they're not going to do it for you and check on you. But then this end of the spectrum is I'm going to go above and beyond.
And I feel like we always attract the opposite of who we are. So a lot of times we get disappointed because we're assuming they're going to act how we're acting. And sometimes that's why it's not reciprocated.
Probably.
Because you feel like, okay, but you know, when you were sick, I brought you soup and orange juice.
Right. Right.
And then and brought it to your home physically.
Right.
And then when I was sick, you didn't. So now I'm disappointed because now maybe in my mind, bringing you something, or you know what I mean, that meant I cared.
I think
and so
too,
if you care differently, you know what I mean. There is a point where you have to accept people are going to show up for you differently, though.
Right.
Even if they don't show up how you did. You know, you came with a big bow on a big old huge present, but they came with a card.
I
so
know
that doesn't
that-
mean that I care less. It just means I care differently.
I know that there were times where, like, because of my personality being so social, I got roped into like always being someone who would plan and put stuff together and make sure it happened.
Yeah.
And then I was expressing to someone like, but I want to get invited to stuff too.
Yeah.
I want to be like, not have no expectation of hosting or put something together. And when I stopped, it wasn't happening no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, but they were like the people that I was doing this with, I stopped, and then it turned into they were just doing social things with other people.
Okay.
But it probably was, well, then those people started inviting me.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were doing what I was doing for other people. It just was like,
they were saying yes to other things because you didn't have
'cause you
anything for
didn't-
them
exactly.
to. Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, I get that. And so I feel like I want to break that habit, though. I don't want to always be that person.
Okay.
I don't always want to do that. And now, if that means I got to sit at home by myself until somebody call, I guess. But I think that's like the navigation too of like
Balance.
I don't have balance. I'm terrible at balance.
But at least you know what but there are certain things, key points in that. Again, checking in with your mental health to figure out what are those things that you can work on.
Right.
Those are just things you're like, okay, I'm noticing this more. I'm noticing certain behaviors of my own and others.
Yeah.
And then in order for me to improve my situation, how do I make it better or change it?
Also, understanding what I needed 2 years ago is not what I need today.
Okay.
You know, what I was able to give 2 years ago, I can't give it today.
Yeah.
Also, things have changed and happened in life, like dealing with loss and just dealing with adjusting to life.
Mm-hmm.
I can't show up how I used to.
Yeah.
Now I'm dealing with different battles that I didn't have 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So those kind of things. So I'm just like, I don't know if it's the older I get, but I just was telling someone that the other day because they were like, why did it take you till 28 to realize half the stuff that you was worried about don't matter? And I was like, was it too late? Like, should it have happened sooner?
Yeah.
But I was just like, I don't know. Maybe it was going to hit me at 30, but maybe that means in 2 more years I'm going to have another revelation.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain people who, I'm just going to give this scenario, but there are certain people who, you know, their car will break down and they will be like, oh, I gotta get my walking shoes on and get to walking up this hill. And then there's certain people who are like, I'm going to call somebody to come.
Oh, accurate.
Because I'm not doing all of that.
Yeah.
And then you know what I mean? Then there are certain people who are just like, okay, let me fix this problem. I'm going to take this 2 hours to fix this car up. And then I'm going to get myself down the road, and then I'm gonna keep
Yes.
on my journey. It just depends on how you.
It really people
Navigate.
handle things differently, but also not to say that the person that is able to fix that car up, it might be like that might be my situation now. 8 months from now, I might be one of the people that be like, yeah, I don't have time for this. I'm calling somebody to come get me. And 8 months from then, I might be like, back to I fix it myself. Like, you know, like they're just.
It's levels. And that's the thing,
Yeah.
too, is allowing yourself to be able to grow or just change. Even if you're not growing necessarily, you're just changing.
Allow
and it's
it.
just like, you know, and allowing, like, right? Like, okay, I used to like,
Well,
that
that's
used to
so
be my
beautiful.
favorite color, but now I like this color, and it's okay.
It's okay to change. It's okay to, but no, because we are in a time where we just have, as humans, we're like, oh, they're acting funny because they're acting different.
Oh,
Well, no, what
yeah.
they need is not, like, we're changing.
We're
and we're supposed to
changing.
evolve.
Yes.
So that is a good part of mental health too. Like, be okay with change.
Mm-hmm.
Be okay to evolve. And what you used to like, you may like once again. But
Yeah.
You may never. Who knows? But that's so good. I'm glad you just said that. I like that. I'm gonna steal that.
Oh.
Put it on a t-shirt.
What did I say?
Okay.
I don't remember.
What I took from it was change is okay. And it's
Okay.
okay to, you know,
That's all
Like,
I mean.
because it just seems like sometimes that is a narrative. Like, oh, don't act funny. Like, no, I just don't like that no more. Or like, that used to be your favorite. Well, it ain't now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I feel like that's interesting. But for me, a good skincare routine right now is keeping me very sane.
That's good.
You know?
That's good.
It's not liquor anymore, I'll tell you that. It's the gym and my skincare routine.
There you go. Get it.
Yes.
Yes.
And going to bed on time.
And that's always going to be an improvement, right?
Yeah.
Like, not that alcohol or having a drink or whatever can't improve your mood, but, you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't always have to be the
I
thing
think I'm
that you go
allergic to it now.
Y'all
Messed me up. I did that month and I am allergic.
I like how you blaming y'all.
Everyone
and you're
else.
the one that decided.
Everyone else. I bet you can't do a month. I bet you can't do a month.
I never said that.
And I kept failing month after month, and then I do it
kept
successfully.
I kept
I
failing.
failed 3 months in a row.
Oh.
And then I do it successfully, and all of a sudden,
Oh, no.
it don't even do nothing. I'm just like, I don't need that.
No, I've had 2 drinks since December.
I got 2 drinks into them. Don't nobody care. I haven't had a drink in, I can't remember the last time I had a drink.
It's not necessarily, I'm not flexing. I'm just saying.
No, I feel like
I made
went
some
from-
changes.
I went from being stressed out at work and needing a drink to
Mhm.
now I'm just like, I'm okay if I do, I'm okay if I don't. When I'm stressed, I go to the gym.
There you go.
You know, and I'm happy with that.
That's good.
You know, when I'm stressed, I'm gonna find a hobby is what I'm about to find. I feel so bad
Oh.
because I just saw a video on Instagram and a girl was like, please remember when you're at work, the people don't be in your business. They ask you what you do on the weekends. You tell them you had a quiet, slow weekend, and then you lived your life. And then we just had a work meeting yesterday, and they were like, we want everyone to say what they do to just de-stress from work. And so people are like, well, I go to Chicago every weekend. And the girl in the video was like, don't tell them people you making enough money to go treat yourself every weekend. And the one girl in my chat was like, I go to Chicago every weekend, and I do this. I go to the spa every other weekend in Chicago. And I'm like,
Wow.
do we make that much? And
Right.
then they got to me, and I was like, tacos and margaritas. And now I'm like, an alcoholic, I'm sure. They're going to be like, that black man is an alcoholic. 'Cause I'm like, I need a margarita to deal with the stress of the callers and a good taco
That's a good
Tuesday.
time. That's a good time.
I mean, they all were like, oh my God, us too. And I was just like,
I was gonna say, I know somebody said me too.
yeah, as soon as I said margaritas, I was like, is that professional to say? And they all laughed. But I'm like, but yeah, no, I'm off of that. But
Yeah.
I'm glad we did that because I feel like the tone of it now too. I was looking at clips from our old episode when we did mental health, and just the tone of it, I'm like, that was dramatic.
But we were in a different space. So
We
it's
were in a
like, you
different
know,
space.
your message
Yeah.
and your clear your understanding of certain things
Yeah.
change. So it's like, it's okay.
Yeah, things change.
Things change.
Ask us in 2 years. No, not 2 years, but
Yeah.
the next time we come across this topic, it's probably going to be even different. Like,
Yes.
it's okay with that. But I'm glad we did tackle that topic. We have a lot more topics to get back to. We got to figure out how y'all going to get these topics. But let us know what y'all want us to tackle as well. That would be always fun to do. So send us a message on Instagram or... Is that all we have?
Yeah, I think so. Cousin Talk Podcast.
We got TikTok.
Oh, yeah, we have a TikTok and we have YouTube. So you can let us know. But I'm only going to check Instagram. I don't use that
I don't check
stuff,
anything.
but
I rely on these two to tell me. So
she don't know what y'all want. She don't know what y'all want. Somebody said they wanted us to talk about the evolution of Beyonce and the work ethic, and I was like, these people are gonna shoot us if we talk about that woman anymore.
shoot,
Like,
we gonna talk about it because actually I did see a post where somebody was referring to, she was reflecting on the fact that the game-changing moments that Beyonce has been providing us has been pretty much since she came out and did her solo album.
Yeah.
Like the things, her performances and the things she's done have really been
I just don't like that
outstanding.
the Kardashians are teaching classes at colleges, like huge colleges, about business and impact. I did see a Mount Rushmore with Nene Leakes, Kim Kardashian, New York, and Omarosa.
Or reality stars.
I was like, well, they have made their mark.
I mean, you can't deny it.
So I also feel like Nene is just
Nene.
let me tell you something. For mental health, a good laugh will do you right. You watch funny moments of Nene on YouTube, you're gonna laugh.
Oh
but
my gosh.
Yeah, they were on Mount Rushmore for their
Really?
New
For
York?
their influence?
yeah.
Mm.
Prior to I Love New York, I'm not Flavor Flav. Reality TV wasn't. What was it? Real World. That was probably about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she set the TV on fire.
She sure did. People couldn't get enough of that.
And then from her, we had Kim Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a business.
It is.
Yeah.
It
We're going to
is.
leave off on that note.
Okay.
But this is a good topic. We look forward to our next one. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.